Before we quit, I'd like to show you a little more advanced version of the blues progression with more substitutions in it, and how I would create a framework for that. And this, of course, would apply more to better high school students than college-age students. So let me illustrate what these chords are as they go by.
1, 2, 3.
So we're hearing the 1 chord again. So we're hearing the 1 chord again. 4 chord on the 2nd major. This is very common. Back to the 1 chord. Now on the 5th major, as usual, the 4 chord. Back to the 1 chord. But in this case, I'm going to, oh, it doesn't do it that time. In a minute, though, it'll on that 2nd major, the 1 chord, it'll go to 6. If it goes to 6, then instead of going 5, 4, 1, it'll go 2, 5, 1. And then often there'll be some kind of a turnaround on the end. Now the turnaround, the last 2 majors are what we call the turnaround, where there's a chord progression that moves you back to the top. It doesn't really go anywhere else. It just takes you from the tonic back to the tonic, but it creates some motion in the meantime. Let's see if we get it this time. I think as we go along, we get the 6th chord, and then we'll get 2, 5, 1. Let's see. I think I'm going to try a different chord progression and see if we have something a little more consistent than we hang on.
B flat.
All right, so here's a blues that has more substitutions in it, as we usually do.
1, 2, 3.
I'll show you what they are. 1 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord. Still going to the 4 chord as usual on the 5th bar. 4 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord. But here, instead of 2 majors, 6. Go from the 1 to the 6. If you go 6, then you're going to go 2 here to 5. To 1, and then a turnaround, 6 again, 2, 5. So here's the top 1, 4, 1, 1. 4 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord, to the 6th chord, which is going to take me to the 2 chord, to the 5 chord, to the 1, but we're turning around, so 6, 2, 2, 5. Here's for the 6th chord. 2 to 5, and then I do this again. Framework. So with a more advanced student, or as the students advance, this can happen in high school and certainly in college, I'm going to use a more advanced chord progression like this that has more substitutions in it, which means that I have to amend the framework with a little more detail. And so my half steps are really the 3, it's the 3rd of the 1 chord that has to move down a half step to the 7th of the 4 chord. We can also move the 7th of the 1 chord down to the 3rd of the 4 chord. And then I'm going back to the 7th of the 4 chord so I can move it back to the 3 of the 1 chord. When I go to the 6th chord, then I go to the major 3rd of that, which is down a 3rd. That'll be the 3rd anyway. And then that's only down a half step to get to the 7 of the 2 chord, which will take me to the 3 of the 5 chord. And then that can take me to the root of the 1 chord so that I can do the turnaround with the root, and then raise that a half step to the 3rd of the 6th chord, down a half step to the 7th of the 2 chord, down another half step to the 3 of the 5 chord, which could then go down a half step to the 7 of the 1 chord. So there's different ways you can do this, but I think it's helpful to a student to create a framework that they get married to, and they really develop an intuition about when those notes have to change, that they don't have to sit and count measures. There's a sense of when that has to happen. Then it's not difficult to let them expand on that. And let me just do one example of expanding on that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You get the idea. And of course, it gets more and more intricate from there, but no matter how intricate it gets, it still fits the framework. It's still outlining those basic pitches, it's, at least at this point. So let's call it good for now on the blues. Thanks.